Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bom dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and of course, the Portugal Club, where we will go for, what is it now? Portuguese citizenship test question 84, I believe, today. A rude awakening this morning. The town siren went off and on the local WhatsApp. Does everybody have a local WhatsApp? Does anybody know what that was this morning? So, as Mrs. M would say, hope everyone's okay. And that it was nothing too serious this morning. But when the Bomberos alarm goes off, it must have been around, I think, before 7 o'clock this morning. It's a little bit worrying, isn't it? As you're awakened from your slumbers and rest, hopefully, fingers crossed, you've had a decent night's sleep, and then you realize there's an emergency of some kind going on. So I hope everyone's okay here in San Martino de Porto, as I hope you're okay wherever you are in Portugal this morning, or in another far-flung part of the world. Sorry for being late. Yeah, it's been a strange... yes. The extra time is waxing my forehead. Peter, do you know, if I ever do merch, I'll have to do some kind of, as though, you know, it's like surfboard waxing, a special compound for maximum shine of the forehead. It's a spooky, misty morning. The visual you can see behind me is that of the local forest. I took the kids to the playground. They didn't want to stop at the playground to play football, although I did hammer them later on with a rapid 3-0 victory. Yes, more football talk for 2026, of course. It's World Cup year. I wasn't influenced by that. It was just nice to get the kids out for a bit of exercise. And we went on into the forest. Now, if I move, I thought I captured the moon. I think, the moon you could just see in the center of the picture there. It was really lovely in the forest yesterday. And I just realized we hadn't been there often enough. It's walking distance from the house. It's where you can have a picnic and a barbecue. There are barbecue facilities there in San Martino de Porto. However, it was really boggy and waterlogged and water damaged, and that's what's going on. We're still recovering from the flooding here in San Martino de Porto. I've got to get rid of this visual flanging and phasing. That's better, isn't it? On the neon light there. Still optimizing the position for that, but a little bit of visual frying going on the screen. Hope you're well. Matty! Oh, Jacqueline Mary here as well. Who's that? Morning to you. The Bartons are here as well. And Jacqueline Mary, I suspect, might be Jackie. Welsh Jackie, right? What's going on with all these YouTube names, I wonder? Yes, Bondi, it's just, don't worry, everyone. It's Welsh Jackie, Bondi, Carl and Gumpus. Hope everyone had a lovely Christmas. And yes, it's me, Welsh Jackie. Sorry about the name confusion, but I'm about to launch my personal channel. So all change here, ready for Portugal. Excellent. What's the preview for that? And when are you coming on the screen? Do you want to jump on and tell us about it this morning, Jackie? And actually, before you leave the UK, would love to chat with you from the barge and the UK waterways. So if one morning you're up for that and you can give us a little bit of a tour of the waterways with your phone and we can find out where you're coming from, wouldn't that be lovely? So yeah, if you're up for that, let me know. And do let us know in the chat more about your new channel, Jackie. How's your little pooch this morning? Do you remember we used to do pooch and pussy pictures first thing in the morning? If you want to send a picture of your pet, I mean, basically you've already done that there on the screen, Jackie. 913-590-303 as ever. The theme of the morning, actually, let me put your comments on the screen as well. Theme of the morning then is the United Nations of Portugal. This will be my article this week in the Portugal Resident. And it's not a new thing, really. I've long thought that the various nations, I think I mentioned it yesterday, didn't I? The various nations of foreigners from which we come would make the most incredible lobby group and representative association of the really of our intentions. I mean, the strapline I've got so far is in Portugal for Portugal, the United Nations of Portugal. What is it? 190 plus nations represented here in Portugal. What an incredible bunch of people who I trust all that share a similar mission or sentiment with me. Many of them, I hope, but of course not all of them, and that's human nature. Some people are here strictly for their own good and have no intention of presumably giving anything back apart from taxes, and not even them if they can help it. And who can blame them? But yeah, some of us want to give back to the country we love and has welcomed us so heartily here in Portugal. So how about that? The United Nations of Portugal, representatives from each of the nations, and we're slowly lining up as an informal body. But I think what an amazing association if it was formalized as a way of representing the thoughts, needs, and ideas for contribution from the various nations to the Portuguese government, the United Nations of Portugal. Working title in Portugal for Portugal. We are more than 1 in 10. We're not 2 in 10 yet, but we're certainly more than 1 in 10. So let's stick to 1 in 10 as a working number of foreigners here in Portugal. And I do want to spend more time on the show in the new year talking to people from those various nations. And Alim has offered to step forward as this is informal representation. You're not suddenly becoming the UN ambassador with a massive pay packet and a pension yet, but who knows where this could go. So if you want to represent your nation, and it doesn't have to be for forever. It could just be popping on the show to talk from your nation's perspective one morning, and ideally hearing from those nations who we don't hear from so much. We've got Nepalese friends, haven't we? We have had Nepalese buddies on the show, and of course the Brits, the Americans, the Australians, the Germans, but not so much the lesser spotted nations. We haven't spoken to a Brazil. We haven't got like a Brazilian mate, have we? We speak to who doesn't like a Brazilian first thing in the morning. And I didn't say all of that just so I could just do a cheap throwaway one-liner like that. But yeah, a Brazilian first thing in the morning. If you know one, let us know, or let them know, and see if they're up for chatting, to let us know what life is like from a Brazilian perspective, etc., etc. What's life like from a Pakistani perspective, from a Canadian perspective. We've got Canadian friends, haven't we? Of course. Frank comes to mind immediately. Though not your average Canadian, I think it's fair to say. Bon dia alegria gumpers from T-Duck as well then this morning. Yeah, I'm sorry I was late. 6s and 7s. Not 6-7, as the youth say, but 6s and 7s in the traditional sense this morning. But we're here now. Morning, everyone, from Mel as well. From Sarah Yerman. Morning, Team Yerman. That fast wash takes longer and longer every day. Full ablutions for me, Peter. Who wants to start a GoFundMe for his hair? I don't think, if anything, I'm streamlined. I'm not. With less hair, the washing process should be quicker and easier. And I can think of better things for a GoFundMe than that. I'm not going to be. You don't have to fund a weekend in Turkey for me, or get me English teeth done at the same time. No, not necessary. I'm going to grow old disgracefully, and if that means being bald as a chimp's bottom and having the teeth of a Dickensian Londoner, then so be it. It's called character. Well, it used to be, didn't it? Now it's called ew. Bon dia, T-Duck, Mel, and Sarah, the welcoming party. Welcoming monitor this morning. Welsh Jackie, how you doing? And I did send a little message at 2 minutes past as well, to be fair. We'll do that Portuguese citizenship test question, and we'll look at some of these numbers to do with the United Nations of Portugal and anything else that you may have seen. Where did I put my research for the United Nations of Portugal? I did. AI is good in some ways, isn't it? I think we've really no idea what's in the post for us with AI. We can only just have a quick think about it and then stop thinking about it, because actually it's going to be overwhelming in some way or other, I think. I heard one expression yesterday: when AI gets out ahead and in front of us, that's going to be an interesting moment, is it not, in the future, when AI is really thinking for itself and surprising us with all sorts of ideas and serving suggestions. Right, so in the Resident then, I think that will be published today, the United Nations of Portugal, a powerful possibility, or at least a great festival, and I'll explain what I mean by that after I think we've done the Portuguese citizenship test question. And is there any news? Is there anything happening this morning across your social media, your news feeds, that may be of interest to share with all of the Gumpers this morning. I do need to stop from time to time so I can have a sip of this lovely cup of tea I've made myself as well. A few more comments then before we really get started. And the reason actually I'm in the forest this morning is because that's what it feels like at the moment. We're in the IKEA of the year, aren't we? We're stuck in the middle of the shop looking for the exit. We want to get cracking with 2026. And a little bit waylaid by things that are catching our eye, holding on a little bit to the year that we've got, tentatively moving forward into 2026, getting to the checkout, and then going out into the open air, grabbing a hot dog or an ice cream on the way from the IKEA shop. And I know one or two of you have never been to IKEA, but that's what it's like. If you've ever wondered what IKEA was like, it's like this time of year where you're keen to get going, but you're stuck. You're stuck in the middle somewhere, and you really and just like the news are giving you annual reviews, IKEA are throwing things up in front of you that you might like to buy on the way out of the shop. You will miss them here at Welsh Jackie. Even the ones with pictures of chickens on the outside are egg flavored. What? Oh, oh my God, that's delicious. Carl, none of us are here for the show. It's the free crisps. Where was that then? Mine saw Finnegan, mate. Is that Saturday morning pictures? Did you get free crisps? Is that what? Is that where's that reference from then? I want crisps are great here, Peter. My new favorite here is what I call fart flavor, what my family calls fart flavor. That's the ovoshirottush, egg and bacon flavored crisps. I like ketchup flavor as well. That's not a new one though. We have that in UK, don't we? But yeah, no problem with the crisps over here. The ridgy ones, the full-on soaked in olive oil ones, the traditional ones. I'm not too keen on. They're a bit greasy, aren't they? But I do like the fart flavor, and I'd add some chicken flavor over the Christmas period. Anyone else with some crisp surprises? And how about we bring back Crick Crack? I don't know if you listened to my conversation with Bruce Hawker of Open Media, the owner of The Resident. He kicked off the interview podcast. Got a great guest for the new year, actually, a real character, a former Dutch DJ, I believe he is, and now a property developer in the Algarve. Well, Bruce, when he was a young lad, was the salesman at about 16 years of age, driving his mum's car around the Algarve, selling crisps that had just been newly, not invented, but newly created in the Algarve. Crick Crack. No one here, I think, in this community has been here long enough to remember Crick Crack Crisp. Bon dia, everyone, from Mike. I'm suspecting how you're doing there, Mike. And Karen and the whole family, of course, in Miranda de Corvo. Have you been? You've only got 2 days to enjoy the free travel on the metro bus there. I heard another fantastic description of what today is, although this was yesterday. Oh, and I'm looking for my memes here, and we've got a new feature at the Portugal Club. Kate Bygrave, of course, the master memer, who has been posting things up for our pleasure. I've suggested she put them all in one place. So we've got a Bygrave bonus thread every day now, I think, and she'll be getting into shape to deliver us a meme in a single thread so we can look back on them as well. She might like this one. Today, this was yesterday. Today is Mundner's Day, December the 37th. That's what it definitely feels like, right? December the 37th. Oh, and I've got one I'm sending you. This is coming to you now. I don't know how relevant this is, but T-Duck and I are particularly fond of cat-related memes, just to deal with my difficulties around feline association and challenges around the house. 4 cats here. Actually, one of them seems to, this is typical cat behavior, of course. One of our cats seems to have defected to a neighbour's, where she's an old lady, and I think she had a nose, her little pink nose was put out of joint by 3 kittens turning up. And I can imagine that was pretty distressing for the old gal. So she now is living with a neighbour. And I mean, typically in my neighbourhood, the neighbours are so lovely here. The neighbour said, "Oh yeah, your cat seems to be living with us now." And I'm good with that. As long as she's having a nice life, I'm fine with that. And very occasionally, I think when he's popped out for the day, it comes back home, as it were, to get fed. That's what cats are like, as we've noted here before. I think dogs have. I'm sending this to you now, T Duck. Dogs have masters and cats have servants. Do they not? All right, where are you? There you go. All right, just sending you that now, T Duck. Yes, bespoke memery. Send me a meme and I'll send you one back. 913-590-303. Matty's here as well this morning. Crikey, that's a busy screen. Whatever's going on there. How you doing, Matty? Fully fit now, I hope. Oh, I found Lay's crisps in Portugal. Yes, Lay's are very popular. I mean, it's all about the big marketing budgets, isn't it? Lay's are a huge company, if not part of Pepsi Cola or whatever. They're going to be at some point, aren't they? They're okay, but I'll be tripping back to UK for certain M&S flavors. Oh, isn't there an M&S down in the Algarve you could go to as well? Morning, Matty. Bom dia, alegria a todos e feliz terça-feira. Yes, day in the shop today, terça. See you there if you're in San Martino de Porto and you're passing by. The crisps here are so unbelievable. You sound like a jaded Victorian gentleman, Peter, writing to you from the colony. The crisps here are so unbelievably dull. Great for salt flavor, no flavor, and egg flavor. It's appalling. Give me a decent crisp. My kingdom for a crisp. I remember those from the UK. Chip fires. Oh, I make. We bought our lad one of those really dangerous potato slicers so that we can make chips. Actually, for some reason he's been wanting a potato ricer, and only when making mashed potato on Christmas Day did I finally understand why it was a useful thing. The old potato masher, British style. We've got one of those. It's not as good a thing as I think the French potato ricer makes some beautiful mash, does that. But we also because he's got like a fleet of potato tools now, or the beginnings of. I bought him a potato peeler a long time ago. He now has 3 potato implements. One of them, one of those slicers is like, oh my goodness, be very mindful when you're making crisps with one of those slicers. I might get a third Serra d'Estrella dog. What? There is one that needs a new home, and I think I've got the space. Is that are they friends of mine, Matty, that you're talking to there? Hit me up after the show. I think I know of a Serra d'Estrella dog that needs a home. Let me know. I'm hiding my face on video, but happy to knock up a video before I leave about the canal and boat life for you. Be careful with typos with that, Peter? Cheers, Jackie. I appreciate that. Have you got that hunting bow? Just having another sip. I need to get my Yorkshire tea order in. If you are watching our Costco buddies this morning, could you grab me some Yorkshire tea bags as well? I may have ordered a little Prezi after playing with the friends. Ooh, Carl said he's reminding me of one of those. But you're very welcome, Peter. How about that? Go to Turkey, get a tattoo as well as the hair and the teeth combo. Yes, I've got a compound bow and carbon fiber arrows. It's not a toy, Peter. It's actually a compound bow with carbon fiber arrows. It sounds lethal. That's an easy 10-pointer. Piss off, Matty. You got plenty of room for another doggy or 4. He has, hasn't he? He can take up where the great Bridget Bardot left off and start a Serra d'Estrella dog-based animal welfare centre there. My goodness. Yeah, God rest her soul, Bridget Bardot. And I'm not sure. All of the stuff that was projected onto her, sex symbol. I mean, that is such a sort of 70s title, isn't it? No one gets called a sex symbol now. Is that because everybody is a sex symbol in some way now? I don't know. But what a beautiful woman, absolutely, Brigitte Bardot. And I suspect being her must have been pretty difficult, actually. And it's no wonder she retreated to the company of animals with all of the adulation that presumably was useful in some way. As an actress, but must have been completely overwhelming in another way as well. Poor woman. Snap just ordered a Bear G4. I was impressed. Check you out. Are you going to get the full camouflage as well, or are you going to go with the high vis look, Peter? Are you going to rent your garden out for occasional Hunger Games? Or what do you call it? Virgin Hunger Games? No, that's got worse. What I mean by that is not actually killing people in your garden, Pete, because that's against the law. Is it true, AI reports IMA have won an award for best customer service. Now where is my laugh? No, really? big up for the IMA. Well, IMA award for best customer service. Now that you make a good point. Is that an AI report? Is it a joke? I mean, this is a territory we'll be going into. Nobody is going to believe. I mean, if they don't already. If they do not believe anything already, we are going into the age where the only safe assessment of what is true is that which you can experience with your senses. Believe me when I tell you, that's where we're headed. And isn't it funny that you have friends? We all have friends, don't we? Who send you a picture, and you're like, back in the day when it used to be chain letters, and they said, look, I don't normally do this. I mean, they would even go to the trouble of saying, I don't normally do this sort of thing, but this one sounds okay and right to me. And it's clearly not. That is the age wholesale that we're going into about now, where you will be able to believe nothing, even if it is true. That's the problem, isn't it? There are occasional things, aren't there, that come to us via the internet that are true in some sense, but we are moving into the age where no one will believe anything they see, or there will be that seed of doubt, and some might say that's the plan, that you believe nothing and you'll be happy about it. No, that's something else, isn't it? That's something else. But this is the beginning, as you can see there from Paul's comment on the screen. IMA reports, AI reports are big about. And look, the AI in IMA have won an award for best customer service. I was about to say that's easily verifiable. It's easily verifiable that that's a story that's knocking about. What's hard to verify if it's true or not. I bought mine secondhand. Oh, look, crossbow talk this morning for the fellas. No, we haven't found any good salt. We're going to have to make our own, everybody. We're going to have our own brand. United Nations of Portugal crisps. Morning, Lisa. Lovely to see you here. Ooh, the fart ones. You know exactly what I mean. That's the funny thing about it. You know exactly what crisps I'm talking about. The fart ones. Those are banned from the place. Now, Lisa, can you imagine how much fun I have when I'm in the car? The first time we opened a bag of those crisps in the car, it was like all my birthdays had come at once. Can anyone smell petrol? Ah! Oh, let me just calm down a minute. Sip of tea. Okay. Thank you. Never really know how much fun I'm going to have in the morning. Hola, bon dia seriously now. Hola, bon dia from Lord and Lady Travanka. I think you like that title, you two. Good morning. No fart crisps there. Thank you very much. Carl, I've sent you some lovely lamb pictures, and I hope it is a lovely lamb picture. I sent a pretty grisly lamb picture, I've got to say, in the last little while. Love the fact that it is lambing season at Christmas. Oh, it was on a starry night. Thank you, Pete. Which of the many platforms? I know you don't often say you like sending things. Very good. Some lovely lambs and a video too. Okay, so maybe we will. You knew that would make me laugh out loud, Peter. I think we're going to go with that as our outro video today. And yes, you're quite right, Peter. Some beautiful. I wonder if I can actually share my WhatsApp screen with you to save a lot of malarkey this morning. The Zoom is working well. Yeah, actually, let me see if I can share the WhatsApp screen, because that's going to make it a whole lot easier. Let me just move your comment for a moment. We haven't done the Portuguese citizenship test yet, and we haven't done those stats. I'm actually doubtful if I can find the stats now of the United Nations of Portugal. Just refreshing that page. There's all sorts going on behind the scenes, and I must admit my rhythm and stride was slightly broken by the talk of fart crisp this morning. All right, let's see if I can share Peter's lamb pictures by way of a complete change of direction here. Share screen, janela, ecrã inteiro. No. Oh, yes, I can. How lovely. I can share WhatsApp. Here we go. These are beautiful, Peter. Thank you very much. There you go. Some lovely lamb pictures from Peter there. And we're also going to get the crossbow target, I think, that he sent me briefly on the screen as one of my markers. But don't they look lovely? Why have you? Why, Peter? There we go. That's better, isn't it? Lambs on the screen. And look at that. Is that the gardenias at the bottom of your garden there, Pete? Beautiful. There's the black sheep of the family there. Little lambs. You're quite right, Peter. And look, lovely. A bit of a shot of the moon there as well. Thank you very much. Very nice indeed. Yeah, it is lovely, isn't it? Christmas time, lambing season here in Portugal. Back to your comments, and then I promise, yes, we will go to the Portuguese citizenship test. I have a feeling some of you have got Portuguese citizenship test fatigue. Hang on in there, folks. Question 84. You're doing very well. You're doing very well indeed. Question 83 yesterday. Oh my goodness. I think we're trying to do too much with the laptop again this morning. Yes, Portuguese citizenship test 83. Who was the Portuguese king? Do you know? It's really weird, isn't it? Going for the peer group pressure. My guess was going to be Jose Primero, and that's who. And you've got to put your money on where Antonio F's putting his money. That was my first guess. Then I saw what Kate had voted, and I changed my mind and went for João Cinco. So yeah, a few votes yesterday. The Marquis de Pombal, says Antonio F. Marquis de Pombal and the then Prime Minister ordered a statue of the King to be built. It is installed in the Praça do Comércio, Terreiro do Passo, in Lisbon. Okay, so the statue that you see them in the Praça do Comércio is José Primeiro, and of course, who worked closely with or instructed the Marquis de Pombal to rebuild to rebuild Lisbon. I beg your pardon. After the earthquake. So there you go. That's your answer there, and that is the statue that was being spoken about by Antonio F. Thank you very much for that. And we're gonna have to build the quiz. Thank you very much, Antonio F. So the right answer there is for Portuguese citizenship test question 83. It looks like it's José Primeiro. Okay, let's make a new entry and let's go for Portuguese citizenship test question 84. And I'm going to have to do some jiggery pokery behind the screens and actually look this up. So question 84. Are we staying with the royal family, I wonder, today? I'm not sure that we are. So, yeah, okay. We've got José Primeiro, that was yesterday's, and 1910, the day before, for when the Portuguese monarchy gave way to the republic and as a dictatorship, as it turns out. We're back to UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Have we not had this one before? Do you know what? I think I got mixed up long ago, and we did some of these. So if you've heard this before, and it's not a difficult question, I have to say, bear with for those people who do this via the web or the Portugal Club. Which river valley? Pretty easy, this one, isn't it? This morning, which river valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site? I mean, these are all contenders in a way, aren't they? And they are all vineyard valleys, I would say. The Tagus, the Minho. Tagus would be the Lisboa DOC, wouldn't it? And there must be vineyards along the Tagus Valley, as there are vineyards along the Minho Valley. But there's only one, I suspect, that is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it has a connection with the Marquis de Pombal, previously mentioned as well. So there you go. Portuguese citizenship test question 84. Which river valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its terraced vineyards? Is it A, the Douro Valley? Is it B, the Tagus Valley? Or is it C, the Minho Valley? I'm going to take a little stab at that myself this morning. There you go. And oh my goodness, we've got lots of membership requests as well. I better not share those. I think that's behind the scenes info there, isn't it? Although, of course, you will be seeing these people as I let them into the Portugal Club, as I approve their spammers, of course, as there are on every platform, it would appear. But anyway, let's see what happens as I welcome Kate into the Portugal Club, who describes herself as calm. Eu quero aprender português. Eu moro no Lisboa. You came to the right place. We, of course, have our 30 day. No, James, you can't come in because I think you're a spammer, and nor can you, Evelyn. When people have online part-time jobs or life is all about opportunity in their bio, I get the feeling they might be spammers. But we're going to give Sharon the benefit of the doubt, whose bio says at work. That's not sure, but we're going to approve her anyway. Welcome to the Portugal Club, friends. Live, you've joined live this morning here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Where did we get to? So we've done we've in the car, Geneva of convention violations. Those poor children. No, there are. Oh, Camponesa. Forgot to mention Camponesa. We like those, don't we? Although that's one of the that's one of the flavors that tends to stay with you for the rest of the day. It's certainly my taste buds. Like some of the Doritos. They're terrible things, aren't they? It's not food, is it? It's an experience. It's not food. But yeah, some of those crisps linger, don't they? I think it's the pseudo onion flavors that the food scientists have come up with. Camponesa being one of them. There is a shop in Lisbon that's good. Okay, so this is buying crossbows in Portugal. Okay, you too. Bond here, Gumpers. If Felicia, haven't got a clue. Just so you know, it's terça-feira. Anyway, he's totally lost in the perineum of festivity and the IKEA. Anyway, hope you've all had a good time. It's the 37th of December, by the way, Ian, Coach Turner, off for lunch with eldest daughter and family in darkest Essex. Well, the Essex countryside is not to be sniffed at or underestimated. Campagnesa's flavour of chips. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Tosh de Mista flavour. I've not seen those. Which supermarket is that? Carl, the dog is called Heidi, and they live near Tamar. Would you like it? Would you like another one? Get in touch with me, Matty, if you are in a position to home another big furry beast and a dog as well. Carl, get your boy a crinkle cutter for his chips. Okay, it looks like we're going into production here. Surprised there isn't a bacalhau flavour. That would actually be a very good flavour of crisp, would it not? Is it going to come down to the United Nations of Portugal, ask foreigners to come up with the bacalhau flavour? That's easy. It's a cross between no flavour and salt flavour. We got through 8 crates of beer before anyone could face bacalhau cabbage. Stop it. You heard the US Twinkie wants to have a form of Hunger Games competition. Now, let's not have any TDS here this morning. Let's not be triggering anyone or anything. Are AI jokes worse than T-Duck's dad jokes? I don't know. It's a low bar. I mean, that's a compliment. That is a compliment, is it not? Pickle Braggins is here this morning. Nice to see you. There's people wandering about, isn't it, in this time between Christmas and New Year's? Like, oh my God, what shall I do? I'll watch the Good Morning Portugal show. Are they still talking rubbish? Yes, they are. They're talking about crisp flavors this morning. Morning, Pickle Braggins, Bondia from the north. And funny fact about crisp chips, most have milk in the contents. It's true, isn't it? For those that are lactose intolerant, crisp. Who knew? Who would have thought that there would be milk in the crisps? Right. I do want to talk about the United Nations of Portugal and give you some stats, but I can't find me data that I was so happy to have found just recently. I know it's in my I squirrel away lots of stubs of articles, obviously, because I'm doing more writing. Actually, than ever at the moment. And so I begin little stubs of information, and I seem to have. There's one. I am sick of myself. Oh, that must be my journal. and not a stub for writing. But where's that gone then? I thought I'd squirreled away the United Nations of. I can't find it now. So I'm gonna have to do a live AI search, and together we can fact check this, aren't they? So who are the Should we try some interesting AI prompts? Who are the foreigners in Portugal? And we know, don't we? We're familiar with some of this. And okay, so and we can go into a deeper dive here. But foreigners in Portugal are a diverse mix. This is the point I'm making, and what it's leading to is the possibility of a lobbying and representative organisation of all of those nations, supposedly 190 plus nations represented here in Portugal. And the predominant members of the foreigner community will, of course, be coming from the former colonies of Portugal, mainly Brazilians, and from the African colonies as well, Cape Verde as well, and Angola. Indians and those from South Asia are larger in number here in Portugal, alongside significant numbers, as well as the UK and the, the Brits have been coming to Portugal for a long time, haven't they? As well as the Germans, of course. Lower profile. I think there are many more Germans here than we would realise. But as I was saying and chatting with a friend, a German in our community here in Portugal, much quieter as a community, sort of blended into the hills of the Algarve when moving away from Germany. And one of the big prompts, I think, years ago, many decades ago, was the fear of nuclear war, wasn't it? Oh, we dealt with that, though. That's gone away now, hasn't it? But a lot of people moved away, I think, away from large urban centres in Western Europe to southern Europe. Among them, Germans moving to the Algarve to live an off-grid life as well. You know, the early adopters of that idea, and they're blended into the hills of Portugal. Many of them, I suspect, Dutch as well, maybe never even bothered to register. And it's probably, it might feel like it's too late now. Can you imagine having lived here for 30 years and you never bothered to register because no one seemed that bothered all those years ago? And as each year went by, it became more of a problem to show yourself. There must be people like that here in Portugal, right? And you think immediately there would be a large number of people in Central like that, but I suspect there are many more, and certainly longer standing people of that type who moved to Portugal in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, squirreled away. They are parts of and possibly pillars of their communities, small communities in the Algarve, but nobody ever asked any questions, so nobody answered them either. And now we're in a different time, aren't we? We're in a totally different time of migration here in Portugal. Anyway, so Brazil, India, Angola, Cape Verde, and the UK, alongside significant numbers from Nepal, Bangladesh, Ukraine, and of course, yeah, we had a huge Ukrainian infusion, I shall say, in the last few years as well, and other European nations driven by economic opportunities, lifestyle, and historical ties. And for each community, and that's why I want to talk to all the different communities. You know, we are. I think it's fair to say, isn't it, when we look at our community here, we are among the most privileged and fortunate. Many people who've come to retire and enjoy a better quality of life. Other people will speak to you from other communities. Will be, coming here to work and to increase their prospects in life. And I'm looking forward to speaking to people from other communities other than our own. I mean, birds of a feather flock together and all that. It's not a criticism of our community, but wouldn't it be interesting to find out what's motivated other people to come to Portugal and what their lives are like, and little things like what are their creature comforts, so I don't know, somebody from Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, what's their, in the way that we're talking about how we can't get decent crisps because or what do you call them, chips. The Americans call them chips, don't they, rather than crisps. I'm keen to find out what the Brazilians will be missing from Brazil, for example, and all the other nations that we've been talking about this morning. So, yeah, driven by economic opportunities, lifestyle, and historical ties, making up around 10 to 15% of the population. And come on, it's at this point that we should be utterly in gratitude and acknowledgement of our Portuguese hosts. They are dealing with an influx of 10 to 15% of foreigners. Now, for any country or culture to be dealing with that and doing that, I think is an incredible achievement. And of course, it will prompt all kinds of challenges, insecurities, fears even. And I think part of wanting to be part of a group of foreigners is to work in, these things at that scale. We need to be talking to each other. We can't. I'm not sure you can just hope for the best with movement, with human movement of this kind. 10 to 15% of your population, if you're a Portuguese person, is foreign, and that must that must be profound for you if you're Portuguese. And I think there's a responsibility among us foreigners to manage and attenuate the effects of us and the movement of us coming into the country. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So, largest foreign communities, recent data according to AI, and notwithstanding what I said before, don't necessarily believe any of this. One wise way to go about this might to see it as indicative rather than utterly accurate. Let's get a sense of what's going on here, and we can argue about the numbers on another occasion, or not at all. The largest group by far, then, due to shared language and culture, with over 300,000 residents, are Brazilians here in Portugal. India has become a major source of immigration, often ranking second or third. Angola and Cape Verde, significant African communities linked by Portuguese history, of course. And it's not going to be too difficult to get a Cape Verdean. I wouldn't have thought on the show. We've got friends of friends. We've got 6 degrees of separation working in our favor there. Spouses and loved ones from Cape Verde. Whether they want to be on the show and talk to us is another matter. Of course, not everybody's that extroverted. But keen, and of course, just like foreigners you meet in a foreign country, they tend to be the more outgoing, extroverted, and adventurous people. So that will be skewed as well, won't it? But let's hope that we're going to meet adventurous, outgoing, and extroverted people from all of the countries I'm mentioning now, who'll come and talk to us about their particular point of view on the show in the new year. UK, large European contingent, especially post-Brexit. Well, there were a lot before Brexit as well, to be fair, going back hundreds of years, with the connections up in Porto and the love of the Algarve, of course, not hundreds of years in the Algarve, but hundreds of years up in the north. Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, growing South Asian communities seeking work, generally work-based. Ukraine, as I say, Aleem will be giving us a Pakistani perspective in due course. Delighted to do so. Chatted with him yesterday about that. Ukraine, a substantial European group, particularly after recent global events. Key trends then among the immigration and the United Nations of Portugal: the Lusophonic influence, strong ties to Brazil and Portuguese-speaking African nations. The PALOP, CPLP, aka, remains central. Asian influx, a notable increase from South Asia, India, Nepal, Bangladesh for economic reasons. European growth, expats from the UK, Italy, France, and other EU countries are common. Although you are seeing a drop-off in those, and I did see Greece seems to be picking up where Portugal was perhaps 10, 15 years ago, with advantageous taxation offers. And things are changing here in Portugal, no question about it. The driving factors, says my search here, are high quality of life, safety, affordability, favorable tax policies, although they are becoming less so, like the NHR. It's just the NHR 2.0 now, which isn't available to many people, it's true. Digital nomad appeal, but they are a fickle bunch. Honestly, digital nomads, it's like, oh my God, my cappuccino wasn't very good, I'm going to look for another country. Is that a fair assessment and caricature of digital nomads? They're not all like that, but I think they are a fickle bunch, and they're going to go where it's hardest, man, where it's cool, where it's 6'7" and Riz and skibbity Riz. Maybe that's not exactly how all digital nomads speak, but you get the gist. Continents, the foreign population is roughly split between the Americas, Europe, Africa, and Asia, with the Americas mostly Brazil and Africa, PALOP, being traditional strongholds alongside rising Asian and European groups. Overall growth, then, the foreign-born population has seen dramatic growth, increasing from a small percentage to potentially 10 to 15% of the total population in only a decade, my friends. And that's why I think it's an important thing to talk about, and to play our part, to take responsibility for our brothers and sisters from our own country as well, I think, in some ways. Excuse me, I hope that was I was on the microphone, and the right microphone, and muted it so you didn't get coughed on and sniffed at then. a slightly deeper dive here. And this is AI. It's suddenly gone up on a second search from 300,000 to 484,000 Brazilians. And I've heard that figure, around 500,000. 31% of all foreigners are Brazilian in Portugal. As of 2025, it says here the foreign resident population has reached a historic high with approximately 1.54 million foreign citizens living in the country. This group now accounts for 15 average of 14 to 16% of the total population. Brazilians are biggest, Indians, the second numbering 98,000, around the 100,000 mark, and Angolans with 92,000 there. A bit more demographic angle on this. Age and gender. The foreign population is generally younger than the native Portuguese population. That's interesting, isn't it? Because we do have a considerably and notably aging Portuguese population. The median age of the incomers is 37 compared to 44 in the Portuguese population. So that's interesting in its own right. The median age of the native population is 44, is 37 among foreigners. As of 2024, approximately 56% are male and 44% are female. This, I think, is very interesting. And the first figure I heard on these lines was 60%. It's now 71 a few days later. Geographic distribution then. The majority of foreign residents live in the districts of Lisbon, Faro, Setúbal, and Porto, as you might expect. And that's where most Portuguese live. 60% of Portuguese people live in the big cities and the coast, including the Algarve, of course, but 71% of foreign residents. So, I mean, I guess you get a sense of them because there are fewer people in central Portugal, but central Portugal is quite the magnet for foreigners as well. Economic contribution. Immigrants are vital to sectors such as tourism, agriculture, civil construction, and catering. In 2024, foreign nationals represented about 14.4% of taxpayers, contributing to the social security system. Investment and lifestyle. High-income foreigners, digital nomads and retirees, particularly from the US, China, and Northern Europe, have historically been attracted by the Golden Visa, now strictly modified, although still available. Just talk to Bobby O'Reilly from an investment point of view. And from a humanitarian point of view, Portugal also hosts several thousand asylum seekers and refugees, with significant numbers from Afghanistan, Gambia, that's something I didn't know, Gambia, and Ukraine under temporary protection. So there you go, a little insight into the United Nations of Portugal. Let's make that real. Let's lift it off the page and bring some humanity to it. So it's not just statistics, and we will talk to people from those communities. Help me out here with finding those people. Mel thinks it's a good idea to build bridges across the cultures. We've talked about lactose crisps and the possibility of bacalhau crisps. Antonio F is here, everybody. There's bacalhau flavored ice cream. But Antonio F, would you not agree that that's an incredible omission in this culture to not have bacalhau flavored crisps? And who's had those? Yes, I know a Brit living in the edges of Lisboa, lived here 30 years, had 4 kids here, but not registered. No idea how he manages the stuff we all need. Gosh, that's going to become increasingly difficult, is it not? Maybe the Brazilians are missing what? 60% of Australian population were not born there, or their parents weren't. That's extraordinary, is it not? Didn't know that. But it's kind of obvious when you think about it. Very important to build bridges between different cultures. Yeah, I think it will be a loss if we don't. Well, Arend, the US based on immigrants, foreigners, since they almost extinguished the natives. Not sure what you mean there. I get the point, but I think I know what you're talking about. I don't understand exactly the point you're making there, Matty. Bear in mind, Mel says, percentage of foreigners in Portugal is partly due to immigration, but also due to the high rate of emigration. Overall population numbers roughly the same for decades. Yeah, but the proportion of foreigners has gone up, hasn't it? Doubled in a decade. Was that not what I just read out? And that is a significant impact, I think, on the standing population, and hence why I think it's very important for us to represent ourselves well. Now, as well as calling for people from those communities to come and chat with us on the Good Morning Portugal show, talk about their where they've come from, talk about what it's like to be somebody from the culture you've come from here in Portugal, what life is like, and the little creature comforts, the personal stuff, what you miss as well, and what you hope to bring to the country. This should be a two-way street. And I've talked to a few different people about expectations, how it might be that the Portuguese might mentor and coach us in being more Portuguese. What exists at the moment in that department? You've got, there's no citizenship test apart from passing the A2. I wouldn't say the A2 is the best way of learning the language or learning about the culture. Immersion seems to be, a better way. Although I'm not knocking it, and people who live in glass houses, it's not like I'm fluent in Portuguese and criticizing the A2. Far from it. But it does seem like there's space for an educational program, if not in person, then online. Materials, resources that point people in the right direction. And some cultures, nationalities, generally speaking, are doing better than others, and some are more controversial than others. And that's why it's important to have a conversation about, I think, cultural expectations and the to and fro. What might be best noted, understood, consumed, and what sort of behavior might be expected of people in the country, as alongside what can be brought and what can be shared. And the part of the immigration phenomenon is an inevitability. Things cannot and do not stay the same. So this is happening, and that's why I think it's better to be grasping the nettle where it's awkward and difficult and talking about it, rather than just like looking the other way. Tum-ti-tum, let's hope this all works out, because I don't think that is a very good policy. And we see what happens politically, don't we, when things aren't managed properly, perhaps by communities themselves and how they represent themselves. We see what happens and how the resentment can grow. We need grown-up, big boy and big girl pants conversations about this, I would say. Mel also saying here, another fun fact, population of Australia has tripled in my lifetime, hence why these foreigner numbers seem low to me. Yeah, how many Australians are there? And it's a huge country as well, isn't it? But do understand from a local perspective. Absolutely. And ultimately, everything is personal, isn't it? And you can't micromanage everybody's expectations and triggers and upsets and everything. But I think we can probably do a little bit more to talk more, to connect more, and as you say, Mel, as you've put it, to build bridges across the cultures. So it's that dynamic as well. Not only that there be some sort of representation between the foreigners en masse and the Portuguese government and Portuguese people, the Portuguese culture, but the respective cultures, I think, would do well to connect with each other. And what's more, if we began to have what would be called, and these words have all been sort of politicized, polarized, and ruined, haven't they? You need like the word like diversity, multicultural, and these are all just like push button things now. So any possible good in them is kind of undermined, is it not, with the time we live in, and how these words have been weaponized, and the good intent, in everything seems to be, there is suspicion. And good intent is undermined because of people getting triggered before they get to the juice and the good bits in a conversation. And of course, that's down to us about how we manage our conversations. But can you imagine a multicultural festival? And I mean that literally. I'm not talking about politically multicultural. I'm not talking about, trying to impose ideology on other people, but just think about a gathering of all the nations showing themselves off in their best light, such that they be understood, and to share what they are made of, literally, actually share what they're made of and what their contribution might be, and to invite Portuguese people to understand, and the other cultures to understand, try our food, hear our music. This is what we're made of. This is who we are. It's represented in our culture. And here is a demonstration of our culture. What a brilliant event that would be. If we don't end up with a United Nations of Portugal lobbying body or association, we'll have an amazing weekend, will we not? If all of those tribes got together. And that would, that would be not some sort of globalized homogenization. This would be like This is what we're like from this country, generally speaking. You have to do it in generalizations, don't you? You have to do it in stereotypes to a certain extent. But what fun that would be, and what what flavored crisps come from Nepal for probably globalized Lays, to be fair, right? And global brands, and we would get educated that way as well, wouldn't we? Scratching the surface underneath all the global brands that have colonized your country. What was there before? That's delicious. Agreed, Carl, says Mel. Need the discussions also to show it is not the fault of immigration, which was my point. Without it, Portugal's population would have declined heaps due to emigration. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get together. Enough of this division, says Garvo, who's suddenly here. We've summoned the Garvo. We have differences. Let's embrace it. Exatamente. We don't always have to agree. That's okay. No, we don't. We don't always have to agree. We don't have to be the same, but we could respectfully differ, couldn't we? And we can enjoy the differences. My mission this year encourages people to be more understanding and kinder to each other. Well, what a beautiful note to end on. And what a beautiful emblem for this in the shape of lambs. And that's the video that has been sent to us by Peter. So let me load that up into the video deck. And the birds of peace, not the silence of the lambs, that's something entirely different. The peace of the lamb. It seems like a good motif, a good emblem of gentleness. Does it not this morning? And a beautiful note to end on. Thanks to Pete. Exactly, Gary. The wonder of the world is our diversity and different perspectives. Yes, it's exactly what I'm talking about. Let's hear them. Let's do our best to come together in a spirit of the United Nations, as I suspect it was meant to be before it became corporatized, and we can do this in an organic and human grassroots way to make life great for people here in Portugal. Because I mean, that's the point of it, isn't it? It's to enjoy our lives together here. Now that we have all thrown ourselves together, what is the best way that we might do this? And here to finish is a field of lambs bleating and playing together, I suspect, here, if I can load it up correctly. Thanks, Pete, for this. Yeah, a minute of lambs playing for you as we go out pondering the idea of a United Nations of Portugal. It is my article today for the Portugal Resident. Morning all, Bobby O'Reilly. Bobby, I think will you be our spokesman for Ireland, or do you know somebody who would be good? I think there's all sorts of wonderful people you could introduce us to, Bobby, who may wish to speak to us to talk about their national perspective as somebody now living in Portugal. It'd be wonderful. The United Nations of Portugal. Let's do it for 2026. Let's hear those voices from people from different nationalities all around the world and enjoy that richness of difference in human beings and what we can learn from each other. Bobby, good to see you this morning. Looking forward to chatting to you on the show soon. Yeah, and back to Gary then. Need the discussions. Oh, no, that wasn't Gary. Where's Gary? Enough of this division. We have differences. Let's embrace and learn from them. We don't always have to agree. That's okay. It's not that important, is it? Let's find out what we have in common rather than all this focus on what's different about each other and what's upsetting us about this person or that person and what they think. And we're with you, Gary. Your mission this year to encourage people to be more understanding and kinder to each other. Amen, brother. Nice big round of applause for you and some lambs for you now. Have a great day. See you.
The way these two are staring at us. He's having a long piss. There you go. That's a mangy sheep. Look at the tail on that, it's rank. They're a bit manky. But then they've got lots of lambs to look after, so I haven't got them too much.
Stand on the rock up there.